practice. For today's session, we are delighted to welcome our speaker, Dr. Marita Adam, who will be sharing insights from her book, The Magic of Learning to Teach, based on her work with children with learning difficulties. Dr. Marita Adam is a former Army Medical Corps doctor turned educator and learning disability expert. She began her work by closely observing children with learning difficulties to develop successful remedial programs and went on to found an NGO for educating the marginalized and also pioneered school resource rooms in Goa. Her methods and curricula have been widely adopted within Goa's educational system, influencing policy and driving systemic change. She has trained educators, consulted for schools and policymakers, and developed innovative teaching approaches that have successfully advanced students from learning to read to reading to learn. I now invite Dr. Adam to begin the session. We will have a 15-minute question and answer session after this, and I'll request all the participants to type in their questions in the chat while the session progresses. Over to you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Ananya, sorry.
It's okay.
At the outset, let me first thank Dr. Maithili for giving me this opportunity of sharing my experiences through my book. I'm truly grateful. Thank you also to Dr. Ananya and the team at Techquity for making this happen, putting it together and making it happen. I have a special thank you to a colleague of mine who, with her gentle pushes, has got me here. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here today. And also to all of you attending this, the response has been overwhelming. And indeed, I'm really, really happy that so many have joined in to this session. So I will begin. Yes, this is my book, and the magic of learning to teach, for me, it has been truly, truly a magical journey. And I would like to share just a little bit of it with you all. Slide is not moving. Second. Ananya, you'll have to help me. I don't know why the slide is not.
Yeah, it has moved to the second.
Yeah, it's moved. Yeah. Okay, so these are the contents of this book. Obviously, I can't touch on all the chapters, but I will, start by talking about the first chapter itself, which is Chandan's story. Chandan was a student of mine, and most of this chapter has been written by him. When my daughter read my book, what she said to me was, Ma, in this book, this chapter is the most powerful, and it is written practically by him. And I thought about it and I said, yes, his story is very, very, it tells you so much about what is going on for these children in our education system. But there was also something else. There is a sort of a building of a relationship of trust, a relationship of learning between both me and him, that is the teacher and the student. And that comes across, I think, a lot in this chapter. So yes, I think that's what makes it also powerful. Two things about this chapter. One is, once he had written it, I asked him, Chandan, shall I change your name? And he said, no, let it be. And for me, that was a big thing, because taking pride in who you are is so, so important. And that's it. I mean, Chandan is happy to be Chandan. Another thing that I would like to mention is when Chandan first came to me many years ago, of course, his father said to me that he had spent about 8 months running from pillar to post for assessments, for appointments, for just nothing was being done for Chandan himself. When a child comes to me, I always like to start working with the child first before sending for any assessment. So I start working, and as you work with the child, you come to know about the child's difficulties. And it's not often that you really want to send the child for an assessment. Maybe a few, maybe sometimes later on, definitely for concessions, accommodations, etc. But otherwise, no. So these are the two things I wanted to talk about in this chapter. There are lots of samples that explain all of the processing difficulties that are mentioned over here, visual, auditory, language, etc., all explained through children's samples. I will just put up a few of them in order to link them to my reading and language program, link them to the way I have redone the text for these children and the examinations, as well as the new subjects that were developed. Yeah, so let's go. Learning from the children. I started from a clinic setting, working with individual children, moved on to schools, children in schools, children in resource rooms in schools, and then on to full complete classrooms. So actually the book and what I will describe reflects that. So let's look at this example. If you see the child, this is an 8-year-old boy many, many years ago. He was asked to copy the models from the left column into the right. If you look carefully, sorry, can everybody see this? Because my internet is looking a bit. Can we see it, Ananya?
Yes, we can see. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Okay, so the first thing, you can see that he's copied it quite okay. It's a bit small, but I mean, really negligible. That's fine. The second one shows obviously a rotation, what is called a reversal, but that's okay. The third one, yes, is what there is called visual analysis, where the words are not important, but some these are reflected in, say, for example, the letter S. Say, okay, so the child doesn't see it as a single flow, might see it as two C's, one C and the other C reversed. So it's important, at least I learned definitely, that when alphabets are taught, they are given full meaning, whether, how they look, how they sound, how they are formed, how when they are, when they are combined with other sounds, other letters, how they behave before one goes into cursive writing. I mean, that's something that comes out with these children very clearly. The fourth one shows distortion in the shape, yes, and the fifth one again is a reversal. I'd like to ask you all, I'm just going to ask for some interaction only on this slide because of the lack of time. If you look at the first one and the fourth one, does anything come to mind? Would anybody like to say something about the first one and the fourth one? Anybody, anything comes to mind? I mean, I'd love to hear from you all.
Yeah, you can either unmute and speak or type into the chat.
Anybody? No? Okay. I think there's nobody responding. Okay. So
Victor,
let
can
me
you see the chat? There are two comments on the chat. Shall I read it out to you?
Yes, please, ma'am.
One says reminds of key, and the other says representation of a human body.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. That was great. So yes, there are two things that I noticed. One is the number of lines have been drawn correctly. Those 3 lines there on the key, and even down the lines, the number of lines crossing that shape are the same. Child is obviously intelligent, and yes, that first one looks like a key, and I discovered that he has a passion for fishing. And so what he has done is he's converted that shape into a fishing hook. The human brain likes to make meaning of everything. So it's it's important that we also as teachers, somehow get meaning into what the children are learning. I think an example I've given in the book is, I remember teaching history, and we were doing French Revolution, Russian Revolution, and then there was what came out were the liberals, the radicals, and the conservatives. And I had about 11 children in this class, and there were points, of course, for each. And I asked them, thinking about looking at the education system in our country, which group would you like to be in? And of course, a lot of them said radical, and a couple said liberal. And there was one boy who insisted, no, I like it as it is, conservative. And a little later, some of them said, no, but I like 1 point from here and 1 point from there. So what, of course, this brings about is children realize, life is not just black and white. There are grays, and there is acceptance. They were all friends, but they have differing views, and meaning came into what they were learning. So very important there, right? So next slide. This is the same child. I had shown him a picture of two boys fighting, and he was supposed to describe it. I won't go through the whole thing. Just what is circled in green. The child says, one day fight, one day friend. The teacher said, why are Nitin and Sydney fighting? The child says, Dushman. Now, 25 years ago, Hindi was barely heard of in Goa. I asked him, where did he get this word? So he said, playing with friends. And that again told me, when teaching a language, interaction between the children and the teacher is so important. And actually, my program is based on this. Coming to the right side, teacher, how do you play sit and cook? Child, sit and stand, tell me more, no more. I sit and finish, game is over. I sit and become out. The moment you sit, you are out. No, if you stand, is out. I said, does somebody have to be 10? Yes, somebody has to be 10. How many children are playing? 10. So 10 are running, one is chasing. Then what happens? Then they play cheating. How will they cheat? If you sit, no, they make you out as cheating. The confusion over here, he knows. I know he knows how to play the game, and he knows what he's talking about. But he had great difficulty in retrieving of words, and so to get something out, to narrate something was extremely difficult for him. So yes, when we come to how these children have to express, either in the exams or in the classroom, we need to keep this in mind. This is the same child, and this is really fascinating. He also had difficulties with visual memory. I remember showing him the word the, I don't know how many times, and every time he would say, I've never seen this word before. So he had problems there. So I was teaching him phonics and as well as the tenses. So I was giving a dictation after teaching, and this is filed, filing, filed, lifting, lifted, fish, fishing, fished. And we came to ring. And he said, ring. So I said, okay, he wrote the R, and then he said, but you haven't taught me the rest. So we went through the whole thing, and I said, okay, no, go. And he wrote it. And then I said, next word, ringing. And you can see again, he could not write the root word, ring. He has put the, as a tense, as a continuous tense, the ing was coming without any problem. But in the root word, it wasn't. So this tells you that there are so many pathways that one can use in the teaching learning process. It's not just one pathway. Yeah. Okay. Then we come to this slide. It's an English-speaking girl, and she was asked to read this, and you can see it's all being underlined. This is because she's trying to focus. If you look at this writing, all of you are looking at it just now, you won't realize, but all these words are actually falling on your retina. Yet you are able to focus on the word you are reading, and not only that, you're then able to move on to the next word and leave the other one behind. So this focus for these children is sometimes, what is called selective attention is really, really difficult. And when we prepare material for them, we have to ensure that we are able to prepare material which will help them focus. Okay, this is an 8-year-old girl. She's English speaking. You can see what she had to do. I was again teaching her phonics. All the patterns have been taught to her. Let me play the drum. So she read it, and then it had to be covered, and she had to then write. Despite knowing the sounds, she wrote. You could see that it's incorrect. But then when I went through it with her again, for example, she's written plank, so I said A, then she immediately corrected herself. So this is not something that comes automatically. And I realized very early on that teaching just phonics does not work. So, so that was an important learning. Coming to the last line, that word truck, you can see the k has come first, the truck. So the k has come first. This is like auditory sequencing. So when there are many, more than say 2 syllables in a word, sometimes these children have difficulty. In fact, very often they have. I have applied this when doing blending with the children. For example, one says actor, but I didn't do it like that. I did it as actor and added the b. So it was 2 sounds really that were coming together. I mean, 2, the b and the at, rather than 3. Okay. This is a 10-year-old Konkani speaking boy, and this is really difficult. You see the dictation, these are the actual words. There are many, many children like this, at least there definitely were in those days. Being able to write and, in a language you don't know is very, very hard. If I used to do this in my workshops. I used to, put on a song in a different language. Even to identify the sounds is difficult. So doing phonics without the child knowing the language does not help. And there are so many children in the system with these difficulties. Similarly, here again, you can see this was a screening that we did. The child had to describe the picture. He's used the word picture correctly, written it correctly because it was on the board, describe the picture. School is a word that they keep on writing, but the rest is really difficult. However, I would urge teachers to even just try and read. I mean, for example, if I look really closely, the last line would be, a girl is going to school. So yeah. So the programs could not just be, phonics or a remedial. This program had to, there were so many children who needed it. So we had to develop it as a program that could be used by many. Again, this is English-speaking child. Did you know that Tony Boy suddenly jumped into the tires in a second? Or have you been to a mountain called Mount Everest on 101 years ago? Again, very obviously the child knows what he wants to say, but the way it has come out, the organization of the sentence, what is called the syntax, is a problem. So when material is prepared, the sentences have to be short and very, very to the point. And similarly, when question papers are prepared for them, we would do this as well. Okay, so if you look at this, we look at the second one. Peter kicked Sam and ran away. Did Peter run away? Now, most of the children would think that Sam is the one who ran away because the word Sam is closer to ran away. So these are children who have what is called semantic difficulties. And so teaching the subject and predicate is so, it has to be done really well. Also, a lot of these children do not really understand questions. They may know the answers, but they do not understand what you are asking. So in the programs that I have developed, there is a lot that goes about learning how questions are asked. Okay, this is from Professor Feuerstein's instruments. There is, am I going too fast? Am I okay? Yes, I think so. Okay, just please call out if I'm too fast, okay? So there's a model in the center. So I asked the child, to do this exercise. Basically, He has to match from the left-hand column to the right-hand column to get the model. And the child couldn't do this. And yes, you've guessed it right. This child comes to me with a psychoeducational testing done and with a IQ in the 70s. So I don't really look at all these things. So he couldn't do it. So I said, okay, let's describe that model. Can you tell me what you see there? He said, a circle with 3 lines. I said, okay, and what's in the center? He said, a point. So I said, okay, so we have a circle with 3 lines and a point. So let's look on the left side, number 1. What do you see there? Circle and a point. What is missing? 3 lines. Where do you see 3 lines? It's there. Straight away, he points to it. So start from the first brick and keep on adding. Always teach children right from the base. Don't assume that they know. In fact, I didn't know so many things when I was teaching the text. I used to Google, search, find out, because they have to know right from the start. We cannot just be giving them information and knowledge without linking it to what they know and previous knowledge. I'll give you an example, maps. Okay, maps just suddenly come up out of nowhere. Maths is a very abstract sort of a concept. So say you know, in those days, there used to be Google Earth. So you take, you take a satellite picture of the Earth and you start zooming down. You show this to the children, you come down, 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 and you come right down to the land and the oceans. And then you come on to how countries have drawn their own borders. You come down to their state. I actually used to come down to write where they were. That used to excite them a lot. So yes, right from basics has to be taught. I would find this tendency for children with special needs, you know, when educators sort of redo the text for them, they do the important points and make them learn. But there's no linking, there's no real learning in that. So very important here. Okay. So now let's just come to the reading and language program. Which from all that I have learned, I had prepared. This is actually a set of 5 books, which is used, I know, extensively in Goa. The program itself that I did was a sort of an interactive program in a school where children did not speak English, did not know English at all. I did it for classes 1 and 2. Unfortunately, that was only done by me till very recently, last year. The Don Bosco NGO, Konkan Development Society, has taken it on, and I did a couple of sessions with them, and they have found a difference after this year. They are continuing with this program. But otherwise, it's a set of 5 books. So a little bit I'll go into this. Okay, well, from the difficulty scene, what we've looked at? Font and spacing, definitely. There's visuals. The keywords are with visuals. I've used text because I wanted children with autism to be able to use it, and a lot of them have used and have done well with it. Then there's the sounds. There is writing. The writing in my books is only for the purpose of the tactile input for reading, not for handwriting at all. And wherever they've had to write, I've used the model handwriting in my own hand, because for them to be able to copy or write from print would be difficult, because print looks different. Language, I'll explain how I've used. Building in sequence. Let's start with just 2-3 words, add on another one into a sentence structure, keep on adding, going back, linking with the original words. And so this program was developed. The children found it very easy because it was done in such sequence. Very meaningful. And the most important point was usage of the words. Orally as well as written, verbally, doing, acting them out, etc. So I'll show you some. So this is the first page. This could be done as sight words. So these are the few words. How to do them is described in the book. Let's see. I also used to stick them on the board, little Velcro behind them, and the children would play around with them. They love doing it during the break, make their own sentences, and you can change these words. Okay, so here again, I can't go into the details. What I would do is I would write this I like on the board, turn around, face the class and say I, point to myself, and then like I would translate it into Hindi or Konkani or whatever, that word. And then I would just say, I like, say, apples. And I would point out to one of the children, I'd say, what do you like? And the child might respond with nothing, might respond with just one word, might respond in the sentence. And I would cue them till finally they would get that sentence. And whatever they wrote, whatever they said, I would write on the board, say 5, 6 sentences. And then another group of children who hadn't given these sentences would read. So they got a chance of reading what somebody else had written. And this is, their work. You can see I'm not focused on the writing at all. This is a reading and language program. Also, I would encourage them always to be different. So things that they've drawn are also different. Then I'd play around a bit more with things like the sheets like this. Okay. And then this is what I said. This is in my writing, because from print, they will not be able to understand at this stage. Eventually, they start covering and writing. Initially, I don't ask them to cover at all. They read and they write. That was class 1, and this is class 2. You can see how they've progressed. A little more complex. And then you have certain keywords here. Here have like and play, which they've used in different sentences to produce a nice sequence of sentences. This is, in the classroom itself, each one would come up and do their little action and say whatever they like. It was great fun. Teacher was also involved. So like I said, language with interaction between these children as well as the teacher. And this is again from the workbook where we keep on adding new words. Okay, coming to the alphabets, this is the way I would do it. I'd say the language. So number 1, up and round. This is the letter B. B says b, 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 ball. So the whole association has come there. Now I've used language to actually form the letter, plus the tactile input. They can do it on sandpaper cutouts, on their hands, on the air, on the backs of the children in front of them. But they would be able, but at the end of it, they would definitely be able to write the letter B and associate it with various things. I would put it on the board. Here it's a C, of course, but it would be the B there. And then I would ask them to give me words that start with this, and I would draw them. And we would say, if there was an error, I've described in the book how it is to be done. And then I would erase the whole thing, and they would do it in their notebooks. Of course, sometimes it's difficult to see what they've drawn, so I would have to ask them. The alphabets for that. Like I told you, this is the way I would do the blending. Okay, and now the important part is here. Yes, we did the blending. We got the phonic words like rat, pat, etc., but they have to be used. And they have to be linked to the keywords that have been already taught, like look, wants, etc. They have been taught. So now we are adding them on. They read, now they cover and they write. This was a lovely one. I brought a lot of toys to the classroom. Each one would come up, pick up their toy, and say, I play with, they actually say the sentence, and then they were allowed to play with their toys a bit, and then they had to write in their notebooks. So this gets a little more complex as we go. You can see questions is something I focused on a lot. There are a lot of different ways of asking questions, and that's here evident in this worksheet. Comprehension was embedded in the whole program. It was included. Every page was actually comprehension, and I don't think I faced difficulty with any child in understanding what was there in the book. even more complex as we go into, say, I think this is the 4th book. So think about, again, it's taught as a concept. They read it, they understand it, they use it, they make sentences with it. So it becomes very holistic. Okay, the Marigold textbook was too difficult for the children in class 1, even in class 2. So the teacher, the class teacher would read out the stories to them. I use the pictures. So for example, these are apple trees, but we don't see apple trees in Goa. So it became, I'd rather be a mango tree. And so the children were asked to draw their tree. And I just love this. I would write the questions on the board and each one would come out with their own answers. So I'll read this out. I am a mango. Where are you? I'm over here on the tree. What can you see? I can see a bird. What color are you? I am yellow. Are you sweet? Yes, I am sweet. I love these books. I mean, when you compare them to, I know what the standard one is where children learn those text answers by rote and produce them. This is and full of color. They would be these the notebooks. I did my own EVS with them. Again, linked to the program. So, if, for example, the child is drawn, she's come to the front of the class and she talks about her honeybee, and the other children will ask her questions. So it was totally interactive, and there are lots of such exercises that are mentioned in the book. So, yeah. Okay, so that's about the language program. It's a huge chapter in the book, described in great detail. Let's come to examinations and how we link this to what the difficulties that I had seen. I'm not going to read all of this. I hate exams because I learn, but when the paper is in front of me, I forget what I learned. And then she goes on to describe how she feels when the corrected papers are distributed in the class and the teacher's reading out, etc. This is not nice at all. I mean, it's just something that we can't do to children. Here's another problem. I mean, this is the notebook, and most children study from the notebook for the exams. How I can't read anything, how will this child read anything? So we had to give them the material that we had actually prepared. Another problem, what will happen if the earth stops to restart? Question is a little odd. Okay, and this is what she's written. You can't make out anything. So we used to walk around in the classroom and ask what they had written, and orally whatever they said, we would write. So one side will have only night. So, but this is not practical at all. So this can't work. Here again, this is a reference to context. And it was something about a grandmother, falling asleep with her glasses on, and this little girl goes and takes them off. So it is, what does them refer to? The word was glasses. I was in the classroom that time, and I saw she's written, I took take gently in my hand and stood on toes and something else. So I went up to her and I said, what does them refer to? She said, glasses. I said, but you haven't written that anywhere. She said, no, very surprised. I said, no. She said, where shall I write it? I said, write it anywhere, but you have to write that because that is the important main word. So when we are, preparing questions for these children in the exam, we have to take note of this. Again, this child has come from Bihar. He doesn't speak either English or Konkani. He's in standard 4. First exam, he gets a 0. He's beaten it at home. So next exam, he doesn't want to get beaten, so he cheats and he gets caught. Now he's not only a failure, he's also a cheat. I told him, you write. Okay, it's going, this time the exam is on my house. This is an English exam. You write in the script that you know, whatever writing you know. Any word, English word that you use, I will give you marks. So he writes, Marial mein hai is small. Small, that's an English word. Akla, he meant color nahi hai, it's white. Color. I gave him marks for those 2 words. How can we expect these children to just come and just, give exams and understand what's going on in the class? It's just impossible. So this is something that, of course, our education department, at least at that, I know at that time were very, very supportive of all these things that we were doing. Anybody would like to read this? Do read. Anybody? Just give me a little break so that I can. Yes? As somebody put up there.
My pet's name is Rosie. She's a dog. She likes milk, uh,
Bowls.
rice, oats.
Bowls.
Okay.
Bowls.
Don't
Yeah.
milk,
She
rice
jumps.
curry. Yeah. Rice curry. She likes to jump here and there, maybe all
Lovely.
over the house. She is
Fluffy.
Fluffy. Okay. She likes to
Remain.
remain clean. She has
A bath every day.
a bath every day, but she likes to play
Chase.
chase and cues.
Hide and seek.
Hide and seek. Okay. Oh, hide and seek. Yeah.
Resting after.
Resting after playing. She likes to drink water and sit near the
Fan.
fan. Everyone likes, I think.
Yeah.
Rosie, very mush, more. I don't know.
Yeah, much. I love the exclamation. Actually, I love what you've written as well. I have a question for you all now. This is lovely. I mean, it's just that, of course, the spellings are a problem. The sentence construction, but the concepts, the ideas are all lovely. Do you think this is a sixth standard girl? Would you start saying that she should use technology to correct her work at this point or not? Anybody?
Yes, I think she should use technology. Her imagination is very good. It's more like a writer or something like that. She's tried to say something in a very not so very standard English. It's nice. It's like a
Yeah.
bookish. I mean, like what do you say? Story.
Something like Arundhati Roy, right? In The God of Small Things. Yeah. Okay. So, but I mean, like I'm not. There is no right and wrong here. I think, from my side, she's very young. I would like this part of her to be accepted and applauded by the teacher before she actually moves to technology, because what will come out is not her, is not really her. So once children are secure, they know that they've got good ideas, they are being appreciated for that. I think later on using AI might be great, but I personally would not like to interfere with this at this point. I would like her to keep expressing herself as she is. And there's a lot of expressions in my book, a lot of the children have written, which you'll love. Okay, so yeah, thank you for that, Shilpa. Yeah. Okay, this is another child who standard 6. You can see in the first exam, not done, everything seems to be wrong, got poor marks. So in the next interim exam, the question paper was asked orally. We gave her concept questions, like, for example, these sentences, and then based on that, she had to give answers, which she answered correctly. She did pretty well. With that encouragement, this is the final paper, final exam paper, the regular paper. You can see just the difference that it is, it's so neat. The answers are correct. There are spelling errors, yes. And at the end, she's written, end of the paper, smile all the day and night, say ha, and smile, thank you very much. The paper was interesting, say ha. So coming from that one, I hate exams is not the same child, but interesting she got, by the way, from the comprehension exercise, that word. This is a change. This is what we want. I took this and some other papers to the director of education, Dr. Pinto, in those days. And she took one look at them. She called her secretary and she said, we are going to fund these resource rooms. And that's how the academic resource rooms came to be. It was really the work of these two. Yeah. Okay, so that's about exams. Then redoing the text. Okay, so let's look at this. Our children can't do this. This is impossible because look at the print is so close together. There is, you know, I mean, there was no way they could do it. So this is how I have done it. Okay. There are 4 kinds of epithelial cells: squamous, cuboidal, columnar, stratified, squamous. And I would ask them, so which of these cells would you find on the skin? And, you know, very obviously, many of them will say simple squamous. So I would say, okay, this layer, you know how thin a cell is? And that's one single layer on the skin. That means I touch it, it might come off. Immediately, they will jump to stratified squamous. And then I'll say, okay, so where do we need this single layer simple squamous? Something has to pass very fast through it. Something has to really go fast through it, a gas. And that's how we come to the lungs. Right? So this is how that whole page becomes as simple as this. This is what our material, this is the general science that I have done. It was based on the text. I want you to just see that the amount of print on a page, the pictures that explain, the fact that it is done in a question answer format. When I first started, I started as question answers, and then I moved back to, you know, normal text. And the children said, where are the question answers? And I said, do you like that? They said, yes, we want the question answers. So, I mean, from then on, I never did anything else. My material has always been in question answer format. Also, it helps children with semantic difficulties because they get to understand what questions are. Here's another slide to show you really how it has, you know, how short to the point this material is. This is the model paper. It's in color. It was given by the Goa board. I mean, Goa board was giving papers like this. The children had to answer in the question paper itself. So no question of having to, you know, look, where is the question number 1, where to write, etc. Everything was in the paper itself. The pictures were there for retrieval, to help them sort of retrieve and remember those concepts, right? So, and you can see there are just 2-line answers, or maybe 1-line answer, or just tick marks. And this is the type of question. This is the 10 standard. So which eye is in the dark and which eye is in light? So it's really done pictorially. Geography is similar. It's difficult for them to remember, to even spell and remember all these names. So you would put these names down, and then they just have to fill in, which is the northern plain, which is the peninsula plateau, etc. If you can't do it in color, even black and white one can work with black and white. Okay, coming to new subjects. Floriculture and vegetable gardens was something that I had done at my center. The director, the assistant director of agriculture very kindly came, for a few months. He came every week to teach us how to prepare soil, how to grow things, how to do cuttings, how to, various kinds of things. And he started showing us, and I started writing. And we drew things, and I wrote, and we took care of them, and I wrote, and everything we did, I wrote. So this was developed like this, for example. Right? So as the children did things, I wrote. So it was really based on their level. And you can see what it looks like. This is how to use cocoa peat. These are the questions. This is the exam paper. Again, this is the Goa board 10th class paper. If you see, it's all in color again. And the children had things to retrieve. It's very interesting that, most of these children can't remember names. Naming is difficult. But because we grew all of this, they could remember all the plant names, which are generally so difficult. But they didn't have a problem remembering these names at all. actually grew them.
Marita, it is 5:70. Do you want to keep about 10 minutes at the end for question and answers?
Yeah, okay. I'll just quickly go through this as the journal.
Sure.
I just want to talk a little bit about the everyday math because this everyday maths is now being used in about 81 schools in Goa. It's been greatly appreciated. This was based, general science was based on the text. That was based on, floriculture was based on what the children could do. Everyday maths I did with a colleague of mine after I retired. So it was based on whatever we thought the children would require. So here are, for example, the rulers, how to use a ruler, volume, milliliters, where do you use in medicine, in juices, etc. We had the checkbook and the ATM, tax, all of that we included in our everyday maths. So we'd like this to be used a lot, actually. These are the different types of subjects that are there for us. I just want to say something about ISL. This I had been rooting for many, many years, Indian Sign Language. Today, the girl who worked with me, Purva, on maths, she took the help of experts and she produced textual material on Indian Sign Language, which today is being used in special schools, not in the regular schools because we don't have teachers, but they are being trained and they will come. Okay. And I just want to say the board recommends that we do have as whatever subjects the child would need. And there's a scheme coming for children with intellectual disabilities as well. Okay, I just want to end with this last slide. I had done, like I said, my language program in Standard 5. When these children came back in Standard 6, I asked them, I said, give them a dictation to see what they remembered. This is what this child wrote. I not understand because I not write because I not understand spelling. He signed his name. I mean, your heart can stop because what is the purpose of all this teaching language, teaching spelling, teaching writing? It is communication. And that is what this child has done. So this really is success. This is achievement. So that's it. Thank you. The book is available. The color is only available with me, but otherwise it's available. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Marita, so much for this illuminating presentation and sharing your insights from teaching children with learning difficulties. And you have also shown us how carefully examining children's own work and interacting with them can help educators find the path to genuine inclusion through modifying the curriculum, assessment methods, and also interestingly through the introduction of some meaningful new subjects. And it is also heartening to see that many of these practices are being implemented in the schools in Goa. So thank you so much for this. We are now open for questions. So audience can type in their questions in the chat, or you can unmute yourself and ask the questions directly. Thanks.
Maybe as others are framing their questions, may I begin, Marita?
Yes, of course.
So it is really very fascinating to look at the kind of scaffolds that you have provided. How did you arrive at these, given that your own background is a medical practitioner? Was it intuitive or was it through insight into how children learn? Or did you have someone to share these ideas and build on it? What were the triggers really?
I learned from the children. Everything. I have no degree. I have not studied from anywhere. I learned by I think yes, it was an interaction between the child and me that really, like I said, I started with single children and then moved on to groups and then to whole classrooms. And by the end of it, because if one is observant, one can. There is also a kind of a connection between those children and one. It's not. I don't mean emotional. I mean really on a learning sort of that kind of thread that runs through. So yes, I mean, it's totally from the children what I've learned. They led, I followed. They asked, I did. I
Ma'am,
must commend the Goa board. Yes, please, Shilpa.
yeah, for children on the autism spectrum who are
Yeah.
nonverbal, do you also like teach them like vocabulary, like they would, if it's an AAC device or something like that, that
Shilpa,
can be
autism is not my area of
expert?
expertise. In fact,
Okay,
somebody will be actually Purva will be putting up an interview with Giselle Lobo shortly. But
okay.
I didn't have time for this. What I've envisaged for these children, as subjects at the board level, would be basically communication would be either as a subject, verbal, non-verbal. There would be, activities of daily living in the house, out of the house, and vocational subjects, and all done in levels. Lesson plans in each level, rather than expecting these children to attain 80% marks or 70% marks or whatever, or pass. And really what their level is in the various areas. So yeah, so that material, by the way, is being developed, not like this, but material is being developed at the moment in Goa for this equivalent scheme for children with intellectual disabilities. Uh, for children with autism, the non-verbal children, I am not the expert.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Are other boards also as open to to these kind of changes?
Not very, unfortunately. It
So
again
if we had
is
to
person
share these,
dependent, isn't it?
yeah, if
So
we
if
had to
you
share these kind of things, because even today, like Mr. Shetty the chairman of the Goa board, he's also very, very open to new ideas and new things that are coming in. So
one could definitely try with the kind of evidence that you have built
yeah,
and talking to the principal secretaries of different states.
yes,
But
yeah.
there is
So that
not openness everywhere.
yeah, but we're hoping it will. Yeah, that I was actually hoping that that would come about. At least I would be able to say what Goa is doing.
Okay, Vibha has posted a question. Are the papers with pictures still being used in Goa board exam? The beautiful
They
books which
were
you
till
showed, are they being used in schools?
the material is being used, yes, very much so. There is a problem. You can understand that because there's space, there's so little print on a page with all the pictures, the actual volume of a book, of a text, becomes huge. So they have not been printed as textbooks yet. But what happens is, I used to print for every child of mine who came to me. The chapters. But others in schools, the teacher definitely has her own copy. I know that she prints it out, and whether she's giving it to the children or not, yeah. The papers were very much in color. I think this year something has happened because of NEP. The board has not been able to focus on the children with special needs. As a result, schools have been told to set question papers, etc. for them because they've been very busy with implementing NEP for the rest. But yes, it was in color.
Thank you, ma'am.
Definitely. Nice, no? Lovely.
There's another question from Nikita. What do we do for the Goa board SSC examination if a child falls under the category child with special needs? Could we think of giving them marks if we get answers, but which are really not up to the mark, or are like the examples you have shared in your presentations?
Yes, of course. See, the thing is, it depends. If they have a sort of, at the board level, obviously they have a certificate. If they have a certificate, then they come under the, all the exemptions, the concessions, spellings, this, or they have opted for a different subject. If they have opted for a different subject and their answers are like, because paper is set in such a manner in our thing that they just have to write either one word or a sentence. They don't go very wrong because when they are doing their in the books I've described how I actually revised with them before the exam also. So they are able to do this. Vibha, I really don't get what you're asking. You're talking about at the board level or in school, in the lower classes?
She's asking specifically about the board examination.
Okay, the board exam. Yeah, you have to give marks, definitely. In fact, when I was a convener and a member of the academic council, when the papers that were corrected by the regular teacher and then recorrected by the special educator. And then they would get together and sort of, decide whether, again, in the book, there are examples of how, even in the lower classes, teachers have corrected the paper and then asked the special educator to recorrect to see if there were any changes. All that has been done in Goa.
That is indeed very heartening. This is one last question we will take. Can you please give some more inputs on home vegetable gardening as a subject?
Yeah, it's there in the book. I mean, it was also, we grew all the vegetables. We grew even the spices, pepper. We grew in pots. We grew in the ground. We grew the cane leaves, this, that, and everything was noted and drawn. I mean, and the text was written. The problem with vegetables, which is different from floriculture, is the pests. So we even developed our own kind of mixture of, how we should spray these things with we made our own concoctions, which our maths teacher, he was very fond of all this. He also got involved. So all of that is there in the book, and we have it. We have the whole material. We have all the material with us. So if you're interested, definitely you could take a look.
I'm afraid we have run out of time. I'm sure we would love to continue this conversation with Marita. I think the core idea that you have conveyed to us really is this pedagogic relationship. And the problem is really not the children. The problem is with us adults who interact with children. So as long as we are open and we are able to learn from the children, I think we will find pathways to address their so-called difficulties. So thank you very much indeed for this insightful session, Marita. And thanks to all the participants who have joined the session. And I'm sure there would be many more who would be watching the video which we will make available. A special thanks to Ananya and Geeta for holding together this webinar series. Thank you all very much, and we will meet again next month on the 2nd of July with another interesting webinar series. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, ma'am.